in this cab.
Bert the cop sent this over. He said to float away to Happy Land on the bubbles.
Look at this, old Bert.
Oh, good old Bert.
Now, where are you two going on this here now, honeymoon?
Where are we going? Oh, here, Ernie, here's the kitty. Hey, come on, count it, Mary.
Oh, I feel like a bootlegger's wife. Look.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna shoot the works. Whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotels, the hottest music, the richest caviar, and the prettiest wife.
Yowza, that does it. Then what?
Then what, honey?
After that, who cares?
That doesn't come here.
Don't look now, but there's something funny going on back there. I've never really seen a run on a bank before, George, but this has got all the earmarks.
Hey, Ernie, if you got any money in the bank, you better hurry.
Why is that?
Word on the streets, the banks are now dull. I'm cashing out my account, willing and load right now.
What's that?
Oh, let's not stop, George. Let's go.
Just a minute, Mary.
George, let's not
Hey,
stop.
I'll be right back.
What are all those people afraid of?
It's the beginning of the Great Depression, Clarence. All across America, frightened people are pulling their money out of every financial institution.
Oh, you mean like the Panic of '57?
Something like that. It's a chain reaction. Once the bank goes down, the building alone can't be far behind.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Wisconsin, how are you? Hey, Charlie, hey, what's going on? Why couldn't anybody get in? Hey, what is this, Uncle Billy? A holiday? George, hey, now come on in, everybody. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Everybody who's come in. Hey, there's some seats over here. Sit down, make yourselves at home. Yeah.
George, can I talk to you for a second?
What's going on? Why didn't you come?
Oh, I just did what they said you were out. This is a pickle, George. This is a pickle.
Now, what happened? How did it start?
How does a thing like this ever start? All I know is that the bank called our loan.
When?
About an hour ago, and I had to hand over all of our cash.
All of it?
Every cent of it. It was still less than we owed.
Holy mackerel.
And then I got scared and I locked the doors.
The whole town has gone crazy.
Yes, hello. George, it's Potter.
Hello.
George, it's a rumor around town that you've closed your doors. Is that true?
Certainly not, Mr. Potter.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear that. Say, George, are you all right? Do you need any police?
Police? What for?
Oh, mobs can get pretty ugly sometimes, you know.
Now, Mr. Potter.
George, I'm going all out to help in this crisis. I've just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. They'll close up for a week and then they'll reopen.
He just took over the bank.
Now, I may lose a fortune, but I'm willing to guarantee your people too. Just tell them to bring their shares over here and I will pay 50 cents on the dollar.
You never miss a trick, do you, Potter? Well, you're gonna miss this one.
If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you will never reopen. George.
Hello.
George, was it a nice wedding? Gosh, I wanted to be there.
Yeah, you can take this one off now. Hey, now just remember, everybody, that this thing is not as black as it appears. Hey, good news, folks. I just spoke with old man Potter on the phone, and he's guaranteed cash payment to the bank. The bank's gonna reopen next week.
But George, I have my money here.
Did he guarantee this place?
Well, no, Charlie, I didn't ask him. We don't need Potter over here.
I'll take my money out now.
Me too. Me too.
No, you're thinking of this place all wrong. As if I had the money back in a safe. The money's not here. It's in Joe's house, next to yours, Rose, and in Miss Macklin's house, and the Kennedy house, and 100 others. You're lending them the money so they can build, and they're going to repay you as best as they can. What are you going to do, foreclose on them?
I have $242 in here, and $242 isn't going to break anybody.
Right, Rose. Right, look, you just sign this paper. Hey, you'll get your money back in 60 days.
60 days?
Hey, now that's what you agreed to when you bought your shares. Come on, 60 days.
Rose, did you get your money?
No.
Well, I did. Old man Potter will pay 50 cents on the dollar for every share you got.
In cash?
Yes, cash.
Well, what do you say?
No, Rose, you gotta stick to your original agreements. Come on, give us 60 days on this thing.
Okay, Rachel. It's fair half the
No, Rose, hey, Rose, listen to me. I beg of you not to do this thing. If Potter gets a hold of the building alone, there will never be another decent house built in this town again. He's already got the bus line. He's got the department stores. Now he wants us. Why? It's very simple. He wants to keep you living in his slums, paying the kind of rent he decides. Flo, well, you lived in one of his houses before, didn't you?
Yes, George.
Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten what he charged you for that broken down shack? Edna, you remember last year when things weren't going so well and you couldn't quite make your payments?
George.
And you didn't lose your house, did you? You think Potter wouldn't let you keep it? Can't you see what's happening here, people? Potter isn't selling, Potter is buying, and he's picking up some bargains at 50 cents on the dollar. Now look, we can get through this thing all right, but we have to stick together. We need to have faith in each other.
But George, my husband hasn't been at work in over a year, and I need money. How am I supposed to live until the bank opens?
I have doctor's bills to
I
pay.
need cash.
I can't feed my kids on base.
How much do you need?
Hey! Thank you. Hey, I've got $2,000. Got $2,000 right here. Hey, this will tide us over until the bank reopens. Who's first? Rose, how much do you need?
$242.
Rose, just enough to tide you over until the bank reopens?
I will take $242.
Right. There you are.
And that will close my account.
Your account is still here. That's a loan.
Very well.
All right, who's next? And how much do you need?
I have $300 here, George.
And just until the bank reopens, how much do you need?
Well, I suppose $20.
It's $20. Fine. All right, that's all right. Who's next? Miss Thompson?
But George, it's your own money.
Never mind that. Come on, how much do you need?
I can get by on 20, all right.
$20. Fine.
And I'll sign the paper.
You don't have to sign anything. I know you'll pay it back when you can.
Thank you.
All right, that's all right. Who's next? Miss Davis.
Can I have $17.50?
7. Bless you, Miss Davis. Of course, you got 50 cents.
I've never had a head for figures myself, but this is awfully exciting.
We're running out of time. Joe, can you skip ahead?
Yes, ma'am. Straight ahead, 5:59 p.m.
We're gonna make it, George. They're never gonna shut us down today. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dang it! Hey, we're still in business. We got $2 left.
These Rockefellers got nothing on.
All right, I get something for these great big important simoleons here.
We'll save them for a seat.
Thank you, Mama Dollar and Papa Dollar. And hey, if you want to keep this building and loan running, you better have a family real quick.
I wish they were rabbits.
I wish they were too. Hey, let's put them in the safe and see what happens.
Folks! Wedding cake!
Wedding cake! Wedding! Holy mackerel, I'm married! Mary! Oh, where is Mary? You know, I've got a train to catch. Got a train. Train's probably gone. Wonder if Ernie's still outside the cab.
George, there's a call for you.
Hey, listen, we get my wife on the phone. She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the
I
phone.
don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife, Mrs. Bailey. Hey, that's my wife. Mary? Oh, Mary. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. What's that? Come home. What home? 320 Sycamore? Whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel, huh?
One like this.
Hey, how would you like to get a ticket next week? Hasn't you got your romance in ya?
Of course I have. I got rid of it.
Liver pills? Who wants to see liver pills on their honeymoon? What we want is romantic places, beautiful places, places George wants to go.
Hey, Bert, here he comes.
Oh, he's coming.
Who?
The groom, idiot. It's their honeymoon. Get that ducks. Get that ladder up there.
Right, all right.
Hurry up.
Hurry. Hiya, George. I mean, entree, monsieur. Entree.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I'll be. Oh, Mary, when did you?
Remember the night we broke the windows on the
wonderful.
Look, Mr. Potter, it's no skin off my nose. I'm just your little sprite collector. But you can't laugh off this Bailey Park development anymore. Look at it. Congressman Blast is here to see you, Mr. Potter.
Tell the congressman to wait. Go on.
15 years ago, you'd see a path, other houses stuck here and there. Just the old cemetery. Squirrels, buttercups, daisies. My father used to hunt rabbits there himself. Now, look at it today. Dozens of the prettiest little homes that you ever saw. 90% owned by suckers who used to pay rent to you. Your properties, my dear Mr. Employer, are draining out double quick. And you should hear the local yokels making those David and Goliath wisecracks.
Oh, they are they? Even though they know that the Baileys haven't made a single dime out of it.
Well, sure. The Baileys were all chumps. Every one of these homes is worth twice what it cost the building alone to build. But if I were you, Mr. Potter...
Well, you're not me.
Well, as I say, it's no skin off my nose. But one of these days, this bright young gal is going to be asking George Bailey for a job.
Baileys have been a boil on my neck long enough.
I own my own house. Me, Giuseppe Martini, I own my own house. No more women like pigs and butter, son. Come, Maria.
Grassy, Mr. Bailey.
Mr. and Mrs. Martini, welcome home.
Bread, that this house may never know hunger. Salt, that life may always have flavor.
And wine, that joy and prosperity may reign forever. Enter the Martini Castle.
Well, if it isn't George Windbag Bailey. Hee-haw!
Sam Wainwright.
And you must be Jake. How do you do?
We just stopped in town to take a look at the new factory, and then we're headed on down to Florida.
Oh, why don't you join us?
Why, sure. How about you two kids drive on down to Florida with us?
I'm afraid I couldn't get away, Sam.
Oh, still got the old nose to the grindstone, eh, George? Jane, I offered to let George in on the ground floor in plastics, and he turned me down cold.
Don't rub it in, Sam.
I'm not rubbing it in. All right, well, we better get along.
Awfully happy we met you, Mary.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, Jake.
Bye, George.
So long, George. See ya in the funny paper.
And goodbye, Sam.
To Florida. Hee-haw!
Never mind him, George.
Say, George, you're never gonna guess who sent for me to pick you up.
Mr. Potter,
What is it?
George Bailey here to see you, sir.
Oh, by all means, send them in.
Good evening, Mr. Potter.
And a good evening to you too, George. Jelly bean?
Yes, sir. Delicious.
You like them? I'll send you a jar.
Yeah, well, I realize I'll probably figure this out sooner or later, but what exactly am I doing here?
Now that's what I like about you so much, George. Right to the point. You see, I'm an old man. Not many people like me, but I don't really like him either, so it evens it all out. You know, just as well as I do, that I run practically everything in this town with the building alone. We also know that for quite some time I've been trying to get control of it. Or kill it, but I haven't been able to do it because you have been stopping me, George. In fact, you have beaten me, and as anyone in this town can tell you, that takes some doing. Take the depression, for instance. You and I were the only ones to keep our heads. You saved the building alone, and I saved all the rest.
Right. Well, most people would say you stole all the rest.
Ah, the envious ones say that, George, the suckers. Now, I've stated my position, quite frankly, but let's look at your side. Young man, 27, 28, making, say, $40 a week.
Ah, 45.
Oh, 45, out of which, after supporting your mother and paying your bills, you're able to keep, say, 10 if you skimp. A child or two comes along and you're not even able to save the 10. Now, if this young man of 27, 28 were a common, ordinary yokel, I'd say he's doing just fine. But George Bailey's not a common, ordinary yokel. He's a bright, smart, ambitious young man who hates the building alone and who hates his job just as much as I do. A young man who's been trying to get on his own ever since he was born. A young man, smartest one in the crowd, mind you. A young man who has had to watch his friends go places because he's trapped. Yes, I say trapped. And to frittering his life away playing nursemaid to a bunch of unwashed garlic eaters. Now, do I paint a correct picture, or do I exaggerate?
What exactly is your point, Mr. Potter?
My point is that I want to hire you.
Hire me?
George, I want you to manage my affairs, run my properties. I'll start you out at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year?
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife a lot of fine clothes, taking a business trip to New York a year maybe, once a while, in Europe. You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
Would I? You're not talking to somebody else around here, are you? Hey, no, this is me. You remember me, George Bailey.
Ah, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, providing he has brains enough to come aboard.
Holy mackerel. Oh, well, what about the building and loan?
Oh, confound it, man. Are you afraid of success? I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year, starting today. Is it a deal or isn't it?
Well, I know I ought to jump at the chance, Mr. Potter, but I was wondering if maybe I could have some time to think it over.
Sure. You go on and talk to your wife about it.
I'd like to do that.
In the meantime, I'll drop the papers.
All right, sir.
Okay, George?
Okay, Mr. Potter. No, I don't need 24 hours. I don't need to talk to anybody. I know right now the answer is no. No, doggone it, no, you sit here and you spin your little webs, think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't, Mr. Potter, and in the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you were nothing more than a scurvy little spider. And that goes for you, too. Hey, that goes for all of you.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight? Come out tonight. Come out tonight.
Hi.
Hi.
Married, Hatch. Did you ever marry a guy like me?
To keep from becoming an old maid.
You could have married Sam Wainwright or anybody else in town.
Well, I didn't want to marry anybody else in town. I want my baby to look like you.
Didn't even have a real honeymoon. I mean, I promised your babe. Mary, you on the nest?
George Bailey, Lasso's stork.
Lasso's stork? Well, what is it? Was it a boy or a girl?
Uh-huh.